This is Roger Struckoff, day 2 of CloudEXPO in Santa Clara, and we are joined by, I was going to say old friend, let's say great friend, René Bostic. She's here talking about blockchain again to everybody. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a big topic. Anyway, welcome. What's IBM been up to with blockchain and you yourself been up to? And welcome, by the way.
Well, thank you, Roger. First of all, I want to say that IBM really is all in on blockchain, right? And we take a look at sort of the history of blockchain ledger technologies. And, it started out with Bitcoin, Ethereum. IBM evaluated these particular blockchain technologies and found that they were anonymous as well as permissionless, and that many companies are looking for a permissioned blockchain that has consensus, immutability, finality, identity, exactly, known actors, absolutely. And so that is what IBM really is up to. We, as you know, we joined the IBM Linux Foundation as a founder of the HyperLedger project. And so that continues to be our foundation of what we have been doing with blockchain. Now, if you kind of fast forward, right, we have significantly been working with over 400 projects on active networks that we're helping companies come together and create blockchain business networks, as well as, you asked me what I was personally doing, with blockchain. I've been working with the Centers of Disease Control, right, CDC, in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, and we announced last week that the CDC and IBM have come together for a research collaboration project on blockchain. And the issue I want to say here is it's not a science project, right? Is how do we then bring blockchain to public health? I've been working with 2 great gentlemen there, Tom Savage, who is with the National Center of Statistics, well, let me rephrase that. Tom Savage with the National Center of Health Statistics, and he is the blockchain research lead, as well as Chris Lindberg, who is the CDC chief scientist on this blockchain project. And again, right, how do you bring blockchain to public health?
So, there's a mutability issue there, comes in huge, because you can think in terms of really long periods of time and making sure this information stays around. And the other thing that's important is speed. The one thing is that if you have a private network and has permission and everyone knows everybody and has a measure of trust, you're actually able to make the thing perform pretty much at wherever you want it to perform, as I understand it.
Right, correct. So what I want to say about that is it goes down to the HyperLedger fabric, right? We're at 1.0, right, and we have built in great measures on, back to your point, performance, security, and ensuring, back to your point, that when we make blockchain immutable, that you can't change it, and then the finality around it, the governance. How long do many industries have to keep their data around, from a regulatory perspective? Right, exactly.
So I'm thinking 1.0 is a big deal, and I remember writing about it. If you're involved in this day to day, it may have seemed like a long time ago, but it wasn't. It was earlier this year, right?
Right, it was earlier this year in the spring, and again, since then, many companies have then looked at HyperLedger 1.0 and have come on board, right, and saying that they want enterprise-ready blockchain. Again, because blockchain is not, from an IBM perspective, we're not looking at it from a cryptocurrency, right, vantage point. We're looking at it from the vantage point of multiple industries can have assets, and those assets can be tangible or intangible, right, that multiple companies can come together and solve a social, an economic, or a business problem.
Distributed ledger. Right. The diamond thing is on there. What's that called? The HyperLedger or whatever?
HyperLedger, correct. So HyperLedger, they have really done a phenomenal job of the provenance of diamonds across the blockchain, and it takes it all the way from the miners of diamonds all the way to the retail, right? And making sure that, as an example, they're not blood diamonds that are coming from the miners, and you have all of the information as it passes through the supply chain blockchain to give us confidence in what we are buying, in the retail stores.
So what's next? CDC, that's going to be something a year from now we'll be talking about, and you're just like still getting started.
Well, I can't really go into details about the agreement. CDC is going to be doing a press release about it. You tried, but I will tell you, this is so exciting, and we're working with Jaspal Sogu, who is the CDC CTO, and I'm telling you, public health will never be the same.
Beautiful. We could use that. Disease is a bad thing. HyperLedger.org, that's where I go. It's all over GitHub. I mean, within, and remember, HyperLedger.org is an independent open source project, yet IBM is still, contributing.
Absolutely.
So where are some good resources within IBM that people can find?
Right, so I would say, again, back to your point, very important, HyperLedger is open source, and IBM actually contributed back one of our software products called HyperLedger Composer, which is an IDE environment that does not require you, if you will, to code in Golang, right? So IBM has contributed that back to the HyperLedger project for companies to be able to create blockchain business networks. And where we're really going next with that is the blockchain platform, and ensuring that customers can develop, govern, and operate at efficiency a blockchain business network.
Got it. I don't really have it, but I know our readers are smart enough to get it.
Absolutely.
Or our viewers, and I call them readers, I'm dating myself. Our viewers, thanks a lot for joining us, Renee,
so
again. And thanks for watching for SysCon TV. This is Roger Struckoff.